There was mist everywhere. It covered Kameno, Makuyu, and the other ridges in its thin white grayness. It was chilling the skin, but Honya River flowed on as if defying the mist. The water, however, was cold. To Wayaki, bathing so early in the morning, the water seemed to cut his skin like a sharp knife. He shivered a little as he sat naked near the banks of the river. The cold water had gone through the skin, numbing the muscles. His arms, bent at the elbow, rested on the knees. The palms were folded tightly into a fist so that the knuckles of the fingers appeared like little swellings. The thumbs passed between the first and the second fingers and pointed upward. His penis had shrunk in size, and as Wayaki looked at it, he wondered if it really belonged to him. Wayaki was not alone. All along the banks, the other initiates sat, waiting for the surgeon. All his life, Wayaki had waited for this day, for this very opportunity to reveal his courage like a man. This had been the secret ambition of his youth. Yet now that the time had come, he felt afraid. He did not, however, show it. He just stared into space, fear giving him courage. His eyes never moved. He was actually seeing nothing. The knife produced a thin, sharp pain as it cut through the flesh. The surgeon had done his work. The blood trickled freely on the ground, sinking into the soil. Henceforth, a religious bond linked Wayaki to the earth, as if his blood was an offering. Around him, women were shouting and praising him. The son of Shege had proved himself. Such praises were lavished only on the brave. Wayaki sat still after the surgeon had left him. He was now covered with a white sheet. All was well, yet the pain came and shook him to the roots. What was Muthoni feeling? He wondered. He thought that if he had been in her position, he would never have brought himself into such pain. Immediately he hated himself for holding such sentiments. He was of the tribe. He had to endure its ways and be inside the secrets of the hills. His childhood days came and fleeted by. Many things clouded his mind. His early adventure, the years at school. He thought of Livingstone. What would he now think if he found Wayaki sitting there facing the river, holding his penis with blood dripping onto his fingers, falling to the ground while a white calico sheet covered him? Wayaki wanted to laugh at the monstrous idea of Livingstone standing and watching all. The numbness was wearing away, the skin alive again. Pain. Wayaki could not move. The pain was eating through him. That was the gate to the mystery of the hills, and that day when Chege took him to the sacred grove appeared vividly for a second. Then the experience lost its clear edges. Most strange how that old man defied time. Had Wayaki understood him? Something always held Shege aloof from everything around him. Livingstone, in his way, was like Shege, standing for the other side. No, confusing the two. The pain again, biting like ants, eating into the flesh. 2-second waves. His mind was wandering. Still yourself, Wayaki. Keep still. A shout and cry mixing with suppressed groans of pain. Women were shouting and singing their bravery. All was over. The new generation had proved itself without a single blemish. The hospital was a small shade, a little distance from the village. The floor was hard with bams. A thin covering of grass and banana leaves was their bed. After 2 days, Wayaki's wound had swollen so much that he began to doubt if he would ever be well again. Perhaps he would lose his manhood. He shuddered. The other initiates were like him, and whenever the attendants came to treat them, a few initiates screamed with pain as soon as the swollen part was pressed. Food was plentiful, but who had any taste for it? They were forced to eat with teasing threats that their thing would be cut. A more serious threat was that a woman might be brought into the shed and one of the attendants would make love to her in their presence. The initiates were horrified and the attendants laughed. Everybody knew how painful the whole thing would be at the slightest provocation of that kind. The only relief was when the attendants told them stories of men and the inner secrets. At first, such stories were intolerable to Wayaki, especially as he had to listen to them. It was part of their education, but after a few days, when his wound became better, he found that he could listen to the stories with relish and enjoyment. He had a lot to learn. They are all out now? Yeah, we are happy the boys have been a credit to the hills. Pride indeed could be detected in Chege's voice. He had a reason for this. Everywhere he went, he received compliments on the way his son had emerged from the whole experience. People were amazed that the white man's education had not softened him. He could stand the traditional ordeal without flinching. And the girls? The elder from Gadhanjo asked. All, yes, the elder queried. He saw that Chege was hesitant. There is a girl. She is not well. And who is she? Mudhoni. Oh, Joshua's daughter? We heard about her. Strange case for a girl. It is strange, agreed Chege. A little silence fell between them. The sun was high up in the sky and the two men had taken shelter under a tree. Yeah, it is strange, repeated Chege. All the other girls have left, their wounds nearly dry scars. And she? Left in the... Oh no, she stays with her aunt. Her wound, we hear, is getting bigger and worse. A father's curse? Maybe. These Christians, they will never come to any good, the elder commented, slowly shaking his head. I have always said so. You see what discord in the family does. If Joshua had not sold his heart to these people, it would have been a simple case. Why? A black ram without blemish under the Mugumo tree, simply sacrifice and all will have ended well. Yeah, but now he won't agree. So obstinate has he become. I hear, encouraged by those white people. The elder stood up and took his staff. He sneezed and pulled two leaves he was carrying. He rubbed his nose. Well, I will go now when it is day. Go in peace. These hills from the ancient times have seen strange things. Stay well. Remain in peace. The elder went away. Chege watched him disappear. Then he stood up and looked across the valley. Through an opening in the forest, he could see the various huts that lay scattered on the opposite ridge. One side of the roof of Joshua's house could just be seen. Chege let out a small, enigmatic sigh and then murmured, Not well, not well. He took the staff and began trudging back to his home. He was glad that Wayaki was now a man, but still he feared for the country. Wayaki watched her. She was breathing hard. It was now a week since the others resumed their normal life, but Mudhoni was still suffering. Wayaki had come to see her. How are you now? He forced himself to say. I am all right, she replied with difficulty. Her face was much darker than it had been before initiation. She was bearing it well. Wayaki admired her courage, a courage that never deserted her. They talked little. At one time, she turned her eyes away from Wayaki and said, I wish Nyambura could come to me. It was not a complaint. It was just a wish, a longing that she hoped might be fulfilled. And why does she not come? I think my father will not allow her. It is cruel, Wayaki said, having nothing else to say. I disobeyed him. I chose my way, and when he called me back, I refused to go. Wayaki let his eyes roll around the darkened walls of the hut. Black soot hung from the roof in strings, as if ready to fall. Mudhoni's bed was made of bamboo poles tied together to make a frame. Other sticks were tied across. The bedding was grass mixed with a few pieces of sacking and banana leaves. The bed was low against the wall. just near the door. Wayaki thought, is she paying for the disobedience? He shrank to think of this. Was everyone to pay with suffering for choosing his way, for being a rebel? And your mother? She too will not come. He will not allow. She paused a little. And I will not want her to come. She would only cry and become sad, and I would rather bear the pain alone. When Wayaki left the hut, his mind was made up. He must see Nyambura, and that day he went to Makuyu and strolled about, hovered around Joshua's household, hoping to meet her. There was something in Muthoni that somehow called forth all his sympathy and admiration. Was he himself capable of such a rebellion? But he reflected that it was only proper to obey one's father. Perhaps Muthoni had been wrong to disobey. He did not see Nyambura that day. The following morning, he found her drawing water from Honia River. He did not know her very well, but he was struck by the resemblance between the two girls. Even her eyes had that restless but clear look noticeable in Muthoni. Wayaki did not waste words with her. After greetings, he told her about Muthoni and the condition in which she was. Nyambura was shocked and wept with bitterness. This was embarrassing for Wayaki, and he quickly excused himself after warning her not to tell Muthoni that it was he who had been to call Nyambura. Nyambura did not wait, but immediately left her water pot and went to see Muthoni. And after that first visit, she came more often. She avoided the vigilance of her father and would come and stay with Muthoni for as long as possible, chatting about a number of irrelevant things. Sometimes tears suddenly gushed from her eyes and she could not hold them back. Why did you do it? Why did you? She would ask, her love for her sister mingling with bitterness. Muthoni will try to smile and say, I wanted to be a woman. One day, Nyambura, you will know. Let me never know. Let me. You two will have to make a choice one day. Oh, Muthoni, why did you? Why did you? And she will not proceed. As days went by, Muthoni became worse. Wayaki, who was a frequent visitor, grew more troubled. Muthoni was wasting away so fast. Now only her eyes seemed to have any life. Something had to be done. He was now convinced that the herbs which the aunt gave to Muthoni would not cure her. He consulted Nyambura and she agreed with him. The two then approached the aunt and Wayaki gathered enough courage to say, Muthoni should go to hospital. Where? The aunt asked rather hopefully. Syriana Mission Hospital. For a few days, Muthoni's aunt resisted the suggestion. Nyambura besieged her, hatred seething in her heart. She blamed her aunt for this trouble. The aunt began to give way. And who will take her? She asked Wayaki at last. Wayaki thought a little. If there is nobody to take her, I shall. I can get some helpers and I know the way. It is long, but we can go. Come tomorrow. Muthoni was in a bad state. Only the day before, she had fallen into a delirium. Laughing and crying, she would say, I am a woman now. On the day Muthoni was taken to the hospital, Nyambura broke the news to Miriamu. She and Muthoni had agreed to keep their mother ignorant for fear of bringing misery to her. But the case had reached a crisis. Miriamu broke down, weeping, and cried, Why didn't you tell me before? Oh, Muthoni,